Hello and welcome to the TrackRTI tutorial. The purpose of this tutorial is to show you how to make interactive graphs or charts out of your RTI data for your classroom. Alright, so this is the TrackRTI website, trackrti.com. You come to this site, you can purchase a subscription for 1 year to a version of TrackRTI that has a lot more functionality than the free version, and that's what I'm going to show you. Alright, so it costs $12 to purchase a subscription for 1 year. You do that by clicking on the PayPal Buy Now button. And that takes you to this page. From this page, you can pay for a subscription with your PayPal account if you have one, or you can pay with a credit card. After you go through the payment process and your payment is approved, up here somewhere near the top of the page you should see a yellow button that says return to trackrti.com. When you click on that button, you should be taken to this page here. Alright, when you arrive at this page, if you put your PayPal email address in the form here, either the one that you have with your PayPal account or the one that you use when you paid with your credit card, click on enter, and you'll be presented with this form to create an account for trackrti.com. Alright, so I'm going to create an account. Better do that again. Alright, I do want to point out that this is a secure site. If you look up here in the address bar, any data that's sent to or from this server is encrypted. Alright, so I'm going to click on enter. And that takes me to the main page of the application. Alright, this big open area here is where your charts will appear. There's nothing there right now because I haven't created a chart yet. But that's the first thing that I'll show you how to do. And then I'll show you what I can about the application with the one chart that I create, and then I'll log into another account that has some more students entered into it. Alright, so to create my first chart, I'm going to click on this new chart link, and this dialog is going to appear. The first question it asks me is, how many data points is my graph going to contain in total when it's finished? And that can be an estimate. You could fit about 50. That's pretty crowded though. So I'm going to put in 30. And the second question is asking me how many data points I'm going to enter at this time. I'm going to pick 5. Alright, now I need to enter a title for my chart. I'm going to call it Reading Fluency 2013. Now if this was an account that I had that already had students' names entered into it, and if this chart was for an existing student, I could pick their name from this drop-down list, or I could create a new student. Since this is a new account, I'm going to have to create a new student. And click on enter. That takes us to the second part of creating a chart. It's asking me for an x-axis label. The x-axis is the horizontal axis at the bottom of the chart. This is going to be a reading fluency chart, so that is going to be, the bottom is going to show the reading probe dates, the dates that the reading probes are administered. All right, now I'm gonna make up some data. This data would represent words read correctly per minute. All right, and now I can create a second set of data for errors if I want to. You're probably going to want to do that. So I'll just make up some error data, and then I will enter that. All right, now this is the third and last part of creating a chart. I need to enter dates that correspond to those data points that I entered. And the data points should be entered in chronological order. All right, so I'm going to just take the first 5 Mondays on the calendar here. I just click on the date that I want. If I click on a date by mistake, I click on it again and it goes away. When I'm done, I close it. All right, now I want to make an aim line. I'm going to start at 45 would be my baseline, and the goal would be 150 words per minute. All right, now it's asking for a y-axis legend. That's going to be words per minute for this chart. All right, now this next part is important because it helps to keep things organized, and it also is important for the functionality of the chart. Each student and each chart should belong to a group, and also have an assessment type or an assessment name go with it. The reason for that is it helps keep things organized, and also the chart will automatically compute a class average for any charts that have the same group name and the same assessment name. And so each data point that is entered on the same date, for example, if you give that group, if you administer a reading probe to that group on the same day, those data points that are entered on that day with that date, they don't necessarily have to be entered on that day, they just need to be entered with that date. It will average those together and create a class average data set. All right, so I'm going to create a new group since I don't have a group yet. Just going to call it reading. I'll call it reading 1. And an assessment name. Just call it reading. Call it reading fluency, 3rd grade. All right, so here's the chart that I've created from that data, or from that information that I've just entered. All right, the first thing I can show you is down at the bottom, under the chart headings that were there before. We now have the information about the chart that's currently being viewed. The date it was created, the title, the group that it belongs to, the student, the name of the assessment, and these 4 values are all editable. If they somehow, if they were edited by mistake, or if there was a mistake when they were entered, they can be changed. Particularly the group name and the assessment name need to be correct so that they are recognized as being part of the correct group. All right, so I can change any of those if I need to. This link here is for a data report, which will, if I click on show, it will shows up down below the chart. We'll look at that more in a little bit. This is a link to add data to this chart. click on that, this data, this dialog pops up. Say I want to add 5 data points to the chart, put in the number I want to add, click on enter, and let's go ahead and enter 5 more data points. Some error data. And let's add 5 more dates. All right, so there are our 5 additional data points. All right, this next column of the table shows the goal, where I set the goal at 150. I can change that if I need to. The student is progressing better than expected, I can raise it, for example. This next column shows a mathematically predicted success point. So what it's showing is, based on the student's current rate of progress, when would they be expected to reach that goal of 150 words per minute? And this is predicting that the student would reach that at the data point 21, which is well before the sample size of 30. So this would be a case where you might want to raise the goal. 10 data points is not a lot of data to make a decision with. Usually about 13 data points would be considered a significant number, enough to make a decision. So you can take that with a grain of salt. I can change the sample size if I need to, if I decide I'm doing less or more than the 30. This is a link to email the chart, which I can show you a little bit later. Or actually, I guess I could do that now. You click on that link, and we put my email address in there. And you can put more than one address in here if you separate them with a comma. I'm just going to put the one in there. Click on send. All right, it tells me that the chart has been sent, and it tells me to close the window by clicking on the X. So I should be able to look in my email account in a few minutes and see if that has shown up. All right, the next link is to delete a chart. If I clicked on yes, the chart would be deleted. Click on no. It just cancels it. All right, so that's the information, that's the functionality of that table. All right, above the table is the search function, which I will show you. I'll show you how this works when I log into the other account, but I can show you that even though I only have one student, the one group that I've created is in here. The one assessment that I've created and the one student. Okay. If you look up at the top, you see the student's name. All right. And if I say I had 10 students entered into my account, those 10 names would appear across the chart, across the top of the chart. So if I wanted to, and each chart has different views, okay? So if I mouse over Benjamin's name, I can take a look at some of these other views. Okay, if I want to see the aim line, let's come down here, click on aim line. And it shows me that. Remember the baseline was 45 and the goal is 150. So the aim line is on its way to 150. And it's not 150 here because we're only looking at the 10th data point. Right, so it's showing you where the aim line would be at the 10th data point, so you can compare it to the student's progress. As you can see, he's above the aim line. But if I want to see a trend line, I can click on this one, single trend line, and that shows me the trend of the available data, which obviously it's sloping upward. It's a positive trend. Now you can compare the slope of the trend line to the slope of the aim line, and as long as the trend line isn't sloping upward, or as long as the trend line is sloping up at least as much as the aim line, the student's rate of progress is good. All right, now to see a unique trend line for each phase, I have to have a phase change. So I can show you how to do that. You say, let's put a phase change at this data point right here. So I put my mouse on there and I click on that data point. It opens up a dialog that gives me several options. I can delete the data point. I can change the value of it by entering a new value in here and clicking on enter, or I can designate it as a phase change. And if I designate it as a phase change, I can put a note in there to remind me what the phase change consisted of. I'm just going to put in there phase change 1 and set the phase change. All right, now you can see it's going back to the default view here, but you can see that the phase change is designated with the initials PC, the abbreviation PC for phase change. And if I click on the data point again, the phase change note is in there. Now if I decide I don't want that to be a phase change, I can remove it. Now if I go up and click on unique trend line for each phase, I get a trend line for the initial phase and then a trend line for the second phase. This second phase doesn't look so good so far, but it's only 4 data points. Okay. The group average I'll have to show you when I log into the other account because there's only one student. I can show you this extrapolated view. The extrapolated view kind of goes along with this. It shows you, based on the student's current rate of progress, what the chart would look like if it was extrapolated out to the end. You can see the aim line has reached 150 here, and it is predicting, as it says down here, that at data point 21 he's reached 150. All right, so it's showing you a graphic representation of this. And again, that's based on a mathematical prediction. The purpose of it is to help you with making in decision making where an intervention might be appropriate, when it might be appropriate to raise a student's goal. Okay. I can show you this group data. Well, no, I can show you that better when I log into the other account. What I can show you here is this. This is another part of the application where you can create fluency probes. And for an example, let's take a couple paragraphs of this story, The Boy Who Cried Wolf. This is a PDF file, but I should be able to copy and paste it. And I can show you that you can display reading probes here that have already been entered into the system. This is one about horses. The grade level is up here at the top of the page. But I can create a new one by clicking on this link, Create Fluency Probe. I'm going to paste the text that I copied into it. Or I could type in there. It depends what I want to do. If I want to, before I enter it, if I want to see the grade level, you click on this, and it shows me that the grade level of this is 1.3. Okay, so if that's okay, I'm going to enter a title. Passage description. I'll just call it Fluency 1.3. And submit it. Okay, so there it is. Now, the purpose of having it in this form down here, and I can also create a student copy right there. That would be what I print out and give to the student to read. But I would actually score it on the computer. So let's say if the student was reading it and misread the word village, we click on that word, it turns red, and it's counted as an error. The student skips a line, it can click in there. There are 15 words in that line, so it counts those as errors. If I did that by mistake, I can just unclick it. All right, so let's say the student reads, well, probably wouldn't read that word incorrectly. And let's say they get to this, the last word that they read is this. All right, so if I put my mouse in the space in between the words, when that blue line appears, if I click on it, okay, it tells me that the student read 83 words. 83 were read correctly. There 3 were errors. It tells me the words that were missed, and the last word that was read was this. Now, if I want to add this to the student's chart, or a student's chart, find their name in here, name of the chart, and click on enter. Now if I go back to the charts, he should now have 11 data points. Okay, and he read 80 words correctly. Okay, so that's 80, and there were 3 errors. Now that's showing but here are the 3 errors. Okay, so that's a way of scoring reading fluency, creating and scoring reading fluency probes online, and then easily adding them to the student's chart. Okay, I'm going to log into the other account. It has, I think, 9 students in it. Okay, as you can see, there are 9 students across the top. If I mouse over their name, it shows me the title of the chart and gives me all those options. Okay, the chart that it's showing when the page loads is always going to be this first. The chart that belongs to this first student. If I click on Joseph's, it's going to load Joseph's chart. If I wanted to see the unique trend lines, click there. Okay, now I can show you how this search function works. I only have 9 students, but I do have a couple different groups. I have one group called First Period, and when I choose that First Period group, it will show me only the assessments that are available for that first period. I only have one right now, but when I click on that, it will limit the students. The names that appear here will be limited to the students who are in that group. So I could pick an individual student, or I could just leave that like that and click on search, and it will show me the 5 students who are in that group. And then I can look at any of their information. All right, so this search form is very handy if you have a lot of students and a lot of different groups. It will help you to be able to view only the students' charts that you want to see, and make things easy. I could pick the math skills group, and let's say I just want to see Jennifer Thompson's. All right, so I'm just seeing her chart. I'm going to reset this. I do have a student here who has 2 charts. He has one for multiplication, and the other is a reading fluency chart. So if I just wanted to see all the charts for a particular student, no matter what type they are, I could just click on the student's name, and I can see both of Joseph's charts. Okay. Oh, let's check my email. All right, so there's the chart that I emailed to myself. Just want to mention that however the chart looks on the page when you're emailing it, that's how it's going to look when it gets to your email. So if I mail it, if it looks like this on the page when I email it, it's going to look like that in the chart, in the email. Okay, let me show you this group entry function. All right, now I have a couple different groups, but let's say I administer a reading probe to the first period group, and I want to enter them all. I want to enter the data all at one time. And even if they don't all do it on the same day, if they're taking the same assessment, I want to enter it with the same date so that they are figured together for the class average. So I'm going to take the first period reading fluency probe. I'm going to pick a date. Click on search. All right, and then I can enter their data all at once. Okay, so let's say this person read 90 words with 3 errors. This person read 85 words with 2 errors. This person read 99 words with 1 error. All right, and this last chart, for some reason when this chart was created, it didn't include a data error set. That's why it doesn't appear there. So I'll just put in. All right, so when I go back to look at these charts, each one of these students should have data for 12:30. All right, so the data has been entered. Go back to the main page, and let's take a look at that group. All right, yeah, they all have, well, there's Biff's. There's Joseph's. There's Melvin's. Poor kid named Melvin. There's 12:30 for Gina and Priscilla. I didn't show you the class average yet. So if all these students are in the same group, so this purple line is showing the average for the class. Okay, so I can compare that student's progress with the average. So you can see Biff, for the most part, is above the class average. Take a look at Joseph's. He's a little below the class average. Melvin. Okay, that's why that's why Melvin's didn't show up. I didn't click on the right link. All right, so they click on Gina's and Priscilla's. Okay. Oh, hers is not showing up because she's the one who doesn't have the error data. So hers is different. All right. So that's the group data entry. This link here is for settings. Let me reset this so that all the names are showing. And you see there are 9 names across there, and they fit fine. But I can show you what you can do if they don't fit. And the application will do this on its own once you reach 15 names. But suppose you had 15 names and they were all really long and they weren't fitting on. You could go here to settings, and basically this is just to set the number of names that fit across the top, just to show you what it looks like. I'll change it to 5. All right, so now we have only 5 names across the top. And if I want to get to the 6th name, I have to click on this arrow. Okay, then I can see Jennifer's chart. And if I want to get back this way, I just click back this way. All right, so that's how that works. We'll set it back to 15. One thing that I just thought of, if you have a lot of lines on the chart, and it's really crowded, if you want any of the lines to go away, you just click on up here in the legend, you click on the line, the color, it makes that line go away. Click on it again, it comes back. Okay, click on it again, it comes back. All right. Okay. Oh, by the way, if I show the data report, the data report shows each phase. It shows the points in each phase. Gives you a little synopsis. It tells you the mean, which is the average of the data points in that phase. It tells you whether there's an increase or in this case it would be a decrease over the course of that phase. All right, so it just gives you a brief little analysis. And if I want that to be on the paper when I print it, okay, I need to show that. All right, as far as printing the chart goes, I have a button here to print the chart. That will work better than going to File and Print. It's a little bit of a kind of a three-step process, but it does work. So if you click on Print Chart, you get this dialog that asks you to click on OK to print the chart. So you see there's another copy of it down here. It's only going to print one, but until you click on OK, you're going to see two of them. One of them is actually a static image. All right, so here is the print preview showing me what my page is going to look like. Click on Print, and then it's going to ask me to click on OK to reload the page. Right. I don't know if you can hear my printer in the background, but it is printing. I do have a message board here. If you have any issues, you can post them on the message board and I'll respond to them. And that's a pretty quick way to communicate. I will put a contact link for email over here on the right hand side. I just noticed that I didn't have one there, but I will add that. Well, I think that's a pretty good synopsis of how the application works. I'm sure I forgot a thing or two, but feel free to ask questions. Like I said, on the message board or with the contact link when I get that up there. Thank you for listening, and have a nice day.